The morning mist hung low over the Willowbrook River, wrapping everything in a quiet, ghostly hush. The water moved slow and steady, like it had all the time in the world. But for Sophia Hartwell, time was running out. She stood at the river's edge, barefoot, her toes sinking into the cold mud. The hem of her designer dress, once crisp and perfect, now clung to her legs, soaked from the knees down. Her phone, still buzzing with frantic calls from her assistant, slipped from her fingers and disappeared beneath the dark water. Sophia didn't even flinch. Just yesterday she had been Sophia Hartwell, tech mogul, self-made millionaire, the woman who could do no wrong. But today the world saw her differently. A leaked scandal, a betrayal by her most trusted partner, and suddenly, the same newspapers that had once praised her were tearing her apart. She took another step forward. The water climbed higher, her waist, her ribs. "Maybe this is easier," she whispered to no one. On the other side of the river, hidden in the tall reeds, 12-year-old Daniel watched with wide, uncertain eyes. Daniel didn't have a home. Not a real one, anyway. The riverbank was where he slept most nights, where he washed his face in the mornings, where he searched for half-eaten snacks in the trash bins nearby. He knew this place better than anyone. But he had never seen a woman like Sophia here before. She was too clean, too polished, too set. Daniel frowned as she stepped deeper into the water. His stomach twisted. "Something's wrong." Slip. Gasp. The current grabbed her like a hungry hand, yanking her under. For one frozen second, Daniel didn't move. He was just a kid. The river was strong. He wasn't even a good swimmer. But then, no. Daniel didn't think. He ran. Mud splashed under his bare feet as he launched himself into the water. The cold hit him like a slap, stealing his breath. The current tugged at his thin arms, his legs. Too strong, too fast, but he fought. He had to. Somewhere beneath the surface, Sophia was drowning. And for the first time in his life, Daniel realized. He could be the reason someone lived. The river didn't care that Daniel was just a boy. It pulled at him like it wanted him too, dragging him deeper, swirling around his ribs, filling his mouth with the taste of mud and fear. But he kicked harder, his arms slicing through the water, his heart hammering against his bones. A flash of fabric. Sophia's dress, swirling like a pale ghost beneath the surface. Daniel dove. The water pressed against his ears, muffling the world into silence. His fingers brushed against Sophia's sleeve. Got her. And he yanked with all his strength, kicking toward the light above. They broke the surface together, gasping. Sophia was limp, her face white as paper. No, no, no. Daniel dragged her toward the shore, his muscles screaming. The river fought him every inch, whispering let go, but he gritted his teeth and held on. "Wake up, please." The bank was slick with mud. Daniel collapsed onto his knees, rolling Sophia onto her back. Water spilled from her lips, but she didn't move, didn't breathe. Panic clawed up Daniel's throat. He'd seen people do this in movies, pressing on chests, breathing into mouths. But his hands were so small. What if he did it wrong? "You can't die," he begged, pressing his palms to her sternum. "Not like this." One push. Nothing. Tears blurred his vision, but he didn't stop. For a memory flashed. A street performer last summer, fake drowning for coins while his friend laughed and blew air into his lungs. Daniel pinched Sophia's nose, tilted her head back, and exhaled into her mouth. Once. Gasp. Sophia jerked under his hands, coughing up river water, her whole body shuddering back to life. Daniel fell back, dizzy with relief. Sophia's eyes fluttered open. For a second, she just stared at the sky, like she couldn't believe it was still there. Then her gaze landed on Daniel, small, soaked, shaking beside her. "You," she croaked. Daniel wiped his nose with his sleeve. "Yeah." Sophia tried to sit up, failed, and slumped back onto the mud. Why did you do that?" The wind rustled the reeds. Somewhere downstream a bird cried. Daniel looked at his dirty hands. "Don't know," he muttered. Then softer. Just couldn't watch you go. Something in Sophia's face cracked. Here was a woman who'd spent years building walls, against rivals, against doubt, against anyone who might see her weak. Yet this ragged boy had seen her at her lowest, and jumped in anyway. She reached out, her fingers brushing his wrist. "Thank you," she whispered. And for the first time in days, Sophia Hartwell didn't feel alone. The world found out fast. By sundown, news vans crowded the streets near Willowbrook River. "Homeless boy saves tech millionaire," screamed the headlines. Reporters shoved microphones at anyone who might know the story. Shopkeepers, joggers, even the old man who fed pigeons by the bridge. But Daniel didn't see any of it. He was sitting in a hospital cafeteria, wrapped in a blanket 3 sizes too big, chewing on a cheeseburger like it might disappear. Across from him, Sophia scrolled through her phone with one hand, the other resting on the chair beside her, close enough that he could reach it if he wanted. "You're famous," she said, showing him a news clip. His own face stared back, pixelated and small. Daniel swallowed hard. "They're gonna make me go back." Sophia froze. Back where? The group home. Or foster care. He picked at his bun. "They always do." The cafeteria noise faded. Sophia set her phone down. Not this time. 1 week later, Daniel stood on the porch of a blue 2-story house, gripping the straps of his backpack. "It's not much," Sophia said, jiggling the key in the lock. "But the school district's good, and there's a treehouse in the backyard that—" Daniel wasn't listening. He'd already stepped inside, his sneakers squeaking on the hardwood. Sunlight poured through curtains he could open or close whenever he wanted. A fridge hummed in the kitchen, full of food he could eat whenever he was hungry. His throat tightened. Sophia hovered in the doorway. "We can paint your room any color. Or if you hate it, we'll find somewhere else, I just thought." Daniel turned so fast he nearly tripped. "Can I stay?" The question hung between them, fragile as a soap bubble. Sophia crouched until they were eye level. "As long as you want." Something warm and bright burst in Daniel's chest. He launched forward, wrapping his arms around her neck. Sophia staggered back laughing, actually laughing, and for the first time in years Daniel felt safe. The reporters eventually left. The headlines faded. But every morning Sophia made pancakes, burned at first, then edible. Every afternoon, Daniel did homework at the kitchen counter, grumbling but doing it. And every night they sat on the porch swing, counting stars. One evening, Daniel kicked his feet against the floorboards. "You never went back to your company." Sophia sipped her tea. "Nope." "Why?" She watched a firefly blink across the yard. "Because you taught me something, kid. That people aren't headlines. That failure isn't the end. That sometimes the person who saves you isn't in a suit holding a briefcase, but a barefoot boy by a river, brave enough to care." Daniel leaned against her shoulder. "So what now?" Sophia ruffled his hair. "Now we live." And they did. This story was inspired by simple truths. That heroes come in all sizes, that family isn't always blood, and that sometimes the life you save ends up saving you right back. If this touched your heart, hit that like button and tell me in the comments. When was the last time someone surprised you with their kindness? Until next time, remember, the world needs more Daniels. And maybe a few more Sophias too. Stay kind.